Hi, I'm Titli and this is my busy garden. We're still enjoying some fabulous weather here in the UK this week. I don't think it's going to last too much longer, but anyway, it's had a dramatic effect on the garden. I've got a couple of little patches of tulips and they're starting to open. This lovely plant here has burst into bloom. I've no idea what it's called, but if you know, please tell me. Some of the daffodils are out on the border at the back of the garden. And little flowers like these are dotted all over the garden. At the base of the plum tree, these lovely little purply blue and white flowers have appeared. And my blueberry bushes are blooming. Indeed, it's not going to be too long before the apple trees are in blossom as well. And the blooms are coming out on 2 of the 3 quince plants. Yes sir, I'm liking this weather. Right, I'm back in my hot and steamy greenhouse because there's a couple of things I want to do. First, let's see what happened to those courgettes that I transplanted last week into the grow bags. One word: triffids. They're going berserk. They're loving it at the moment. I'm going to take the opportunity this week to plant up my tomatoes and my capsicum plant into grow bags. And for the tomatoes, I'm going to try using some of these. These are called grow pots and they're supposed to help with watering. I'll show you how they work. So here's my grow bag. Pop the grow pot onto the top and then cut away the plastic through the hole in the middle. Take out this centre bit. Then it says to push it firmly into the bag so that these little spikes pierce the bag, so it says. Now I have to fill this in a bit with compost and I'm just using another grow bag to do that. Now I'll take one of my tomato plants, plant him up, fill up with compost, press down and then do the same for the others. Now that they're in place, I'll give the central parts of each of these a really good soaking, about a pint of water I reckon for each one. And then I'll fill up the troughs with water. Then allow the water to saturate into the grow bag through the holes in the bottom of these trays. I've no idea whether these pots are any good, but if they keep my tomatoes well watered, then I'll be a happy bunny. Next I'll put my capsicums into this grow bag. Oh look, another coupon for 50p off tomato food. It's a shame you can't drink tomato food really. In you go, my beauty. Would you be liking to have a drink now, to be sure? So now we have tomatoes, capsicums and courgettes. Next on my list of things to plant are some magic beans. Well, actually they're French beans. I love French beans. I'm going to plant 16 of these because I reckon that's going to be enough for a row of beans in one of my vegetable plots. And a couple over for good luck. And give them a really good watering. If things go on at this rate, I'm going to have to rename this show Titli's Busy Greenhouse. Now there's an idea for a new channel. This little lady's been seen a couple of times in the garden now. As you can see, she's quite thin, and judging by the fact she eats like a horse whenever she arrives, we think she's either lost or abandoned, which is why we've named her Perdue. We'll keep on feeding her as long as we see her. Poor thing. Last week I left you with a hole in the ground, but things have changed a bit since then. let's go back in time a bit and have a look. I've been down to my local builder's merchant and I've come back with 12 25 kilogram bags of ballast. This is a mixture of sharp sand and gravel for making concrete, and 2 bags of cement. Now all I need to do is mix it. Man! 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 So we need 2 bags of ballast into the wheelbarrow, and 1/3 of a bag of cement. Then dry mix well. It's like cooking this, isn't it? Then add in just over 2 litres of water and mix. Sprinkle in a bit more water if necessary. Well mixed concrete has a certain sound and texture to it. Then when it's ready, pour it into the hole. And spread it around. And off we go again. Just to prove I can do it. Until the concrete is in the hole, even it out as best you can. And now I'm going to level it out with this piece of flat wood. Draw it across the concrete in a sawing action. You might need to remove a little bit of excess as you're doing this. Better to have too much concrete than not enough. And I'll come across at right angles as well. And finally I'll just skim lightly with a plasterer's fork. Lovely, pretty happy with that. Now I'm just going to leave it to set for a couple of hours. After a couple of hours the concrete is starting to set, but I can still make little indentations with my fingers in it. So I'm just going to roughen up the surface a bit with a brush. This helps to make it a little more non-slip, and also when I come to stick the bricks on it, it gives the mortar something to key into. You can see the texture of the surface is much rougher now. It's going to take about 3 or 4 days for this concrete to set properly, so in the meantime I need to cover it and protect it with some plastic. There we are. See you in a few days' time. Well, that's all we got time for this week. Thanks for watching, and do join me next week in Titli's busy garden.